Welcome back to Raw Real Reviews. This is our Moon Knight reaction part 2. Unfortunately, computer died on us, and we got in the midst of a fly war. But now that that's over, now that we've won that war for the night.
It's tomorrow war.
Yeah, with damn flies. God damn. Now that we won that war, on to back to what we do best. How you feeling again after the short delay? I know a lot of people probably don't understand what's going on, but go back and watch the 20-minute reaction video we did, and this is the continuation just for anybody that's trying to get caught up. But how you feeling once again in the second part?
So ready for episode 6.
Yeah. So ready for episode 6. Yeah, we were in the midst of just breaking this show down, just going crazy. Would you say this is the best episode yet? Like,
easily my favorite episode.
Really? Mm-hmm. Like, wow. Like, it just took you through the emotions.
I told you, I laughed, I cried, I was a little bit afraid of those like zombie things. I'm like, damn, they were a little dark. Yeah. So this episode really did everything for me. So great episode. It's my favorite so far. What do you think?
I mean, for me, it's like, I don't know. I kind of said this in the last stream. I'm really excited for next week. As a lot of people know, Multiverse of Madness comes out, so like I'm really like fixated on that. Like, this is so cool.
Right?
Like, it's really cool, but like I'm really excited for next week. Like, I don't know. I think just being attached to the MCU as a whole, you're like, all right, what's happening next? Like, yeah, you know this is a part of the MCU, you know this is new, but it's like I'm enjoying it. I really am, but like we see like Multiverse of Madness commercials like every day probably.
Right?
Like at this point.
At least once.
Yeah, at least once, at least. So I'm really excited. I'm not mad. Like, and it's funny because every time a trailer pops up, I'm like.
Right, you hear that ting.
Yeah,
it's like those like Tibetan like little drum.
Yeah, I don't know what y'all did up there in the lab, Marvel, but you got me. I'm like,
they got into the mind. Yeah, they knew sound.
You guys are in my multiverse, just causing madness every time you play this trailer. So, but I like the show. I like episode 4. Yeah, just for me, it was a little slow, but we'll talk about it more as we go through the playback and just break down like some of our favorite moments.
So, question before we get into the show again, we were talking during the break about Marvel really rescuing the movie industry and whether or not the movie industry would even be here if Marvel didn't do the amazing things that it does as far as like movies and bringing people out to the movies in mass, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think Moon Knight could have been a movie or should have been a movie? Because do you think this movie would have made like it would have been a sleeper? A lot of people, like the hardcore fans, would have seen it, and then the critics would have released their reviews, and everyone would have gone to see it if they could have somehow morphed this into like a 2.5 hour movie. But I don't know if you could.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say this had to be like what it was, honestly, for you to even feel this way you feel about the show. You know,
yeah.
Like I think a lot of stuff would have got skipped over, like you know.
Yeah, and it would have been a little long of a storyline to try to drag out over 2 movies, like Moon Knight 1, Moon Knight 2.
Yeah. Like it did. Like this is one of the shows that's really doing, and we're saying it up until this point because we don't know how episode 6 is gonna turn out, but thus far it's like really been just like it's looking like it was meant for like 6 episodes. You know, like it's looking like it's really shaping up like it. Like each episode is like it's very impactful in a way, you know.
It is. I would love to know their process as to how they go about deciding. Like, okay, this character gets a show, and this character gets a movie. Like, how did they know Iron Man should have movies? You know, individual movies, whereas Moon Knight should have a show. You know.
Yeah. Or even like Blade, like
Blade's getting his own movies. You know.
I could have seen the Blade show.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Like, how does he not get a whole? Like, I mean, I feel like you could do 6 episodes of Shang-Chi.
Mythology, like,
oh my god, Chinese mythology. I mean, it might be a little bit more complex to understand. I feel like Egyptian mythology is very universal. A lot of people, I don't know, whatever reason, know about Egyptian mythology. But
yeah,
I just thought that was interesting.
I don't know if it could have been a movie. Like this is like they're giving us 5 hours of like goodness so far. So it's
They really
like
are.
I think if it like I'm gonna say this, like I haven't told you this about the episode yet, but this hands down like every episode before this was golden with just Oscar Isaac, but he just continues to like just turn it up a notch, like just really just his scenes are so powerful. Like you believe him in every scene.
Oh my god. Right?
And like he's still acting like he was acting against himself in the first episode. I thought that was something. But this, oh my god.
Next level.
Man, I like what you did there.
Yeah, I'm funny.
But this is some next level acting, man.
Right?
Like, man, my man is really acting right next to himself. And it, like, there's nothing off about it. Like, I would have thought there's a twin. Like, the way you see Steven and Mark together.
Yeah.
Like, just how they act off of each other. Like, you know, like, we know it's not him acting that. We know it's not him, you know, talking to the other person. But it really just seems like Mark and Steven are in the same place. And they have, like, this is, like, brilliantly done. Like, this is a masterclass.
And you realize they're playing dual characters, right?
Yeah.
Like both are playing dual characters. I think Oscar Isaac's is more complex, but they're both having to learn two different types of characters within the show.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such talent. That's
Yeah. Even Ethan Hawke playing this doctor, it's like,
right.
like, these are two completely different roles, and like, it's like, bravo. Give the award to Moon Knight. Whatever award is going for at the, what's the TV awards called?
SAG
Emmys?
Awards.
I thought you said the side awards. I was like, oh, I wasn't gonna get that disrespectful. But,
I think it's the SAG Awards.
the SAG. Look,
give
give them the SAG awards, give them the Oscar, give them the Emmys, give them all that.
Yeah, it's Emmy. Sorry, I lied.
Emmys, yeah. Give them that because this is awesome and amazing, and I'm loving the acting. I'm loving everything the show is bringing, like so far.
Me too. I mean, I don't. Was this for you? Did this happen for you too? When he said, "Do you remember that boy?" When we first got a glimpse of the kids in the beginning, or the child in the beginning. Remember how they walk into the hall or the cafeteria with all the dead people, right? He realizes it's all the people he's killed in the past.
Yeah.
When I saw the kid, I was like, "Oh my god, he killed a kid!
Yeah,
This
savage.
is gonna be a crazy story." And then you get to the actual scene and you hear his name, and you're like, oh my god, like this is his origin. Like he didn't kill a kid. He's not that horrible person we thought he was this whole time.
Yeah.
He's actually like the episode really humanized him in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely humanized Mark. You know, you just fell for the guy. Like,
very much so.
Like I said I think I said it on the first stream before this, like, they're doing a great job at like just telling real stories in like a, you know, fictional like character show, superhero thing, whatever, right?
Right.
Like you could honestly go without Moon Knight this show. Well, you can't obviously go without Moon Knight just because he's a hero, but it's like for this whole show we really haven't even got to see like what's Moon Knight's like powers, you know?
Yeah.
Like we know it's
potential.
We don't even know what the hell like Moon Knight does. Like we literally just know he can resurrect and not die, you know, and he's got super strength and you know just
he's got
super
some swords and cool suits under there.
We literally don't even know. This show has been focused on Steven and Mark and just a case study on them, and I think it's been brilliant. Now, for the end episode, do you have to like show like the whole Moon Knight stuff? Do you have to like get into the like origins of that, or do you kind of save that for like?
Do you have to get into the Moon Knight origins for the movie?
Or just like, do we need to know more? So we know kind of like about like Iron Man, like Tony Stark, Iron Man, like in his suits and what they can do to a certain extent, like depending on the movie, right? Do you think like some fans do they want to know more about like the actual Moon Knight and like what can he do? What's his weakness like? Or do you think like everybody's satisfied with what we got so far?
I wonder if he doesn't even know exactly what he can really do. You know, I mean, he's been Khonshu's avatar for a while, but we don't even know what he can do, and he's been a reluctant avatar of Khonshu. Not reluctant, but he's been kind of like under duress doing it because he didn't want Layla to get taken.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's gonna embrace it more because of having gone through this with Khonshu and just only become more powerful. You know, to be a more powerful presence when he does enter the MCU with the other Avengers or whoever he enters with. But at that point, I think we're gonna see like the height of his like, you know, Moon Knightness, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in going forward, like, because like he has his own world, right? And like obviously he has his own world of like just, you know, villains or whatever, right? We're gonna see him pop up into like other MCU projects, but I'm wondering like how do you like bring like a Moon Knight to a different MCU project, like
probably under the Blade, like that saga movies, Blade, and what's his name, Kit Harington's, whatever Scottish Dracula thing he's gonna be or something.
Yeah,
I can't remember. Dark Knight or Dark Horse.
Yeah,
something like that.
Black Knight.
Black Knight. Thank you. I was getting there.
Yeah.
I would have got it eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm cause like for me this show is really telling us the story of like Mark and Steven. So I'm thinking for whatever Moon Knight shows up in, like what perspective are we gonna see? You know, like. You know, because this show is really like telling us like his like kind of side, like it's just a different way to, because like obviously like in a Blade we're gonna see the Moon Knight, like the superhero, right? But are we gonna see like Mark or Steven, like, or will they like switch and pop up in like different roles? Like, I'm just wondering how does another director tell that story like in like a Blade, you know?
You mean like continue the story?
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably why they made it a show. You don't need to continue the Stephen Mark story anymore. So that takes a lot of the storytelling out of it. So now you kind of get to create your own Moon Knight, because it's like you just said, we didn't really see a whole lot of Moon Knight. We've seen a lot of Mark and Stephen because it's his origin, you know?
Yeah.
I think you made that comment before we streamed the first time, is that we don't see a whole lot of Moon Knight here. It's not really a superhero kind of show.
Not really.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's not really. Like, that's a good point.
Moon Knight said hello there. Wouldn't it be cool if Marvel actually went to like everyone's stream, like had social media and people on staff like that?
Marvel.
That'd be pretty cool.
Got the check, man. But yeah, what's up, Moon Knight? Glad you're checking out the reaction. But yeah, I mean, this like, I honestly want to watch this like entire like thing all the way back, like straight through.
I'm so
you know,
down for that.
I will say I think this would probably be. I think this is definitely one of those shows that if you watch it full, it makes a lot more sense. You know.
Yeah.
Because I think week by week, a lot of people can get confused on like what's going on and like, you know, trying to catch up, you know, stuff like that. That's the only like thing I will say like so far. It's not easy to follow.
I feel like there's a lot of little things and details that connect, but you forget some of those from the last week, from one week to the next, you know? Yeah. But I feel like you said watching all the way through would make it feel more like a movie, and you'd remember a lot of things. I feel like we're going to have a lot more connections with each of the episodes once we watch it back again like that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because you said it, like, it's not really a kid's show. It's more like...
Yeah, there's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
You're learning history, you're learning his origin, you're learning about, you know, traumatic events happening. Like, there's a lot going on in this show alone.
Yeah.
I loved the hippo character. I can't remember, or I can't pronounce her name, but she
Hippo Goddess.
Yes, the hippo goddess of women and children. Yeah. She was so sweet.
Yeah, I love the voice acting. I love just, like... I just love the randomness. Because it's like, this is so random. Like, watching it with the sound off, you're just like, what the hell? Like, like, what the, like, you're literally, like, you, imagine if you went to sleep and then, like, you just woke up and you just seen this, like, two of the same people and a hippo, like, just talking. Like, that's some, like, wild stuff.
That's some high shit.
Like, yeah, it is. It really is. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, where they took this show is, like, wow, like, kudos for even just...
Right.
Having this idea and just executing. Like, and it actually has meaning, you know.
It does.
Like that's the craziest part about it, because anybody could have done some stuff like this, like just like have the most like random stuff like a hippo or just like, you know. But this actually like, that's why I'm saying I gotta give it up to Marvel and the creative team. Like
to bring this to life from comics, like that's just
yeah.
Some of these movies. I mean, some of them are okay, you know, like they're fine, like the Hawkeye stuff, whatever. But to bring to life some of these different characters and their stories, and then even weave your own kind of spin on what you think should happen, like the abuse and stuff wasn't in there for the comics. Yeah. That was added, you know, the traumas and stuff, and the disorder. The disorder was kind of in the comics, but it's just so much more prevalent here, you know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think, like you said, they just do a really good job of bringing in real life things that do happen or that go on into these shows. Yeah. But they're important.
Yeah, they really are. And they tell them the best. So, like, so shout out to Marvel. I'm wondering, actually, no, we're not going to talk about Doctor Strange yet. Mm-hmm. But, this really, like, got me excited about, like, the next episode. Right. But I'm really hesitant.
About?
The next episode. Because I just don't want everything to be happening in, like, you know, like, and it better not be no 30 minutes either. Like, they've been doing really good so far. Like, each episode's been 50.
Like a 2-hour episode.
This will be the time, Marvel. 2 hours. Like, I wouldn't mind watching a 2-hour finale of this, you know? Like, it's like I'm definitely, like, here for something like that. But I think it'll be another 50 minutes. They've been, they've been consistent with, like, the runtime this far throughout this show.
Yeah, we gotta stay up for it, too.
Yeah, so we will be staying up Tuesday and reacting live. Close out Moon Knight. It's feel like, I don't know, for me it went by really fast.
Too fast.
Like, it really went by fast. Like, I don't even remember the other shows going by this fast like this, man.
I think that's because we're so into it. Like, when he walked out onto a damn ship and they're going through the Duat, so it's like the place right before the afterlife, whether it's heaven or hell, like their version of heaven or hell. Yeah. You know, the Field of Reeds is supposed to meant to be heaven, and then the underworld is obviously, you know, not the best place. But I mean, just the imagery, the imagining and telling of what the Egyptian afterlife would even look like, you know, to the actual weighing of the heart against a feather, you know, like just the way they explained everything, I was just so
mesmerized.
Like I was so into it, but it's also kind of like in a way where I feel like maybe 10-year-olds and up could understand. Like, she's a talking hippo. Yeah. You know, she'll keep your attention. It's funny enough. It's lighthearted enough, but I mean, and I like that it's enough to where kids and adults can watch it. I don't know. I just really loved this whole episode. I mean, from her outfit to the way her hair is, like, it's yeah, it's crazy.
It was like definitely a mind trip. Like I said, watching this episode, like I feel like a lot of people felt like Mark, a lot of people felt like Steven. Like, and he says when I go out to no weed or feeds, like
feel the weeds.
I feel the weed. Cool. Like he said, kill the hippo. Like, you just see this man, like Mark, really?
No.
Like, that's just him.
Right.
Like, just on the edge, just like, bro, what are you saying?
He's always ready to throw hands.
We're gonna steal the boat. Like, where we gonna take the boat, bro? He's like,
do you know where we are? You know,
like, oh my god, that's just. They just do so well. Like, we know that they're not there at the same time, Mark and Steven, right? But it could have fooled us all, right?
Right.
Like, it would have fooled, like this
honestly,
is crazy.
If I'm a psychiatrist and you're in detail explaining all of this to me, I believe it now.
Oh yeah.
Because wow, the imagery is just beautiful. Like, it's I don't know, between the clouds and just the colors and the warmth of the like lighting. Yeah. And just the way it was imagined too. Yeah. Like, each of the psych ward has all of these doors with all of these memories and all of these options. It's just like, it's like she said, you know, I've never been to a psych ward before, but this Duat area is where you imagine, like, it's something familiar, because the human mind can't really comprehend the Duat until she can stop and explain to you. But his choice was to go to a psych ward, you know, and it has all of these memories. But I'm like, I wonder if in some way we would if we were in this situation too, we would have the same type of thing. You know what I mean? And our doors or our memories just looked different. You know?
Yeah. That's a great point.
And now that I think about it, I mean, Dr. Hera was saying to some it's a castle, so maybe you have a lot more doors. To some it's a house, to some it's a library, to some it's a museum, to some it's a psych ward. That's interesting.
Yeah, like it's great. I'm loving the interesting parallels that they're talking about because it's like some real shit. Like you know, it's like it's not just they're just making some whoop de whoop blah blah blah. Like there's some stuff that you actually like sit back and think about. You're like, oh, holy shit! Like this could like actually pertain like to yourself or somebody. You know, like just it's just so much thought put into this. What do you think about like this whole metaphor of like going back inside of yourself and like, you know, reliving like traumatic situations or like just looking at it like from a like different perspective?
I feel like you have to do that when you don't deal with your stuff. Like obviously Mark went through a lot as a mercenary. He killed a lot of people, but he had to push that down and just keep going. He didn't have time to feel his feelings, you know? He didn't have time to process any of this trauma, any of that grief, and so it stayed with him, and it significantly impacted him. But he's been pushing stuff away and not dealing with his trauma since he was a kid. So it's learned. It's from his childhood. But I mean, the way they're telling it in this different type of way, and you're able to see like what repressed memories and traumas look like. And visually. How that weighs against you, you know, how you see yourself. Because, I mean, obviously, he saw himself as Stephen Grant, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's him, too.
Yeah.
That's what we don't realize. You know, he's both this tough, badass, can be a mercenary when needed, and also this sweet, kind, loving, caring person.
Yeah.
You know? That's just who he's always been, but because of something that happened to him, you know? But, I mean, it's the first step towards healing. I really feel like he's going to come out of this, you know, with a real appreciation for Steven, but also an understanding like that is me. And just be a totally different person and a better person. And him and Layla are going to go kick some ass, and I can't wait to see her in the next movie, too.
Yeah, shout out to Layla, man. I ain't gonna lie. I was missing some Layla this episode, man. Like, Layla was low-key been stealing this whole series. But I do think they go, like, hit us with a left field, like, Layla twist. That's something I'm still, like, you know... I'm still holding on to that. Like, we're going to see a big twist with Layla. But, man, just, So we're on the scene where he looks at the boy, right?
The first time he encounters a little boy in a room full of people that he's killed.
And when I seen that the first time, you said the same thing. I was like, really, Mark? I was like, Mark. I was like, bruh.
It throws you for a loop. And I was kind of telling you about that earlier, is that when I saw this, I'm like, oh my God, he's gone so far as to kill a kid. What the hell could have happened? Did he choke his friend? And then I'm like, oh my God, it's his little brother. He choked out his brother? Like, wow. But that's the first assumption. That's the first thing we thought. Because, you know, of what we've seen so far. And that's probably, you know, that's kind of, in a way, what his mom thought. Like, oh, you were jealous of him. You know, I should have known you'd do something like this. Like, who says that to a child, first of all? And second of all, just that in her mind, you know, obviously there makes a case for a history of mental illness, you know, her turning that way, him, you know, she kind of forced it out of him, but the genes aspect of it was already there. But I mean, can you imagine if we were able to literally go to our childhoods like this and process things? If they're able to do something like this in the future, where they're able to bring you back vividly into memories like this, where you can literally watch yourself and, you know, process literally everything that happened. Oh my God. Can you imagine?
Metaverse.
Maybe.
That would be
an outer body metaverse.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's why I said, like, Disney hits every time. Like, to me, this was the most, like, gut-wrenching, like, episode, just because it even got me in the feels a little bit. I'm like, man, like... I
told you I cried, because we all put ourselves in those shoes. We've all been that kid. Don't be a baby. Come on, let's go. Let's do this. You know, let's do that. And can you imagine if something like that happened? How traumatized we would be, and B, how re-traumatized would be when our mom beats our ass and hates us as a result of it.
Hates us for it,
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was crying in this episode. I'd be surprised if I'm not the only one, but maybe. It's very possible.
I mean, this episode was literally showing a kid going through traumas on traumas, you know,
and dealing with it as an adult. Like you've seen him deal with it as an adult, and now that you understand why he was who he was or who he is, you're like, damn, the compassion that you have for him.
Yeah.
You know. And once Layla hears about all this, man,
Ah,
homegirl's gonna have compassion too,
burn them divorce papers up.
right?
But man, like,
Oh.
man, we just see oh my god, like,
Can you imagine?
yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's his mom. Like he understands that, and he must feel a certain type of guilty, you know, for his brother dying. And he's probably carried that. Like that's one aspect of the trauma, like I said.
Right.
And then it's like you're already in the feels about this because we're all like, you know, if you have a sibling, you understand that. And it's just like, man. And then the next one, like the next thing you reveal is that, oh my God, what she says to him at, you know, the Shiva, they had to sit Shiva because of the Jewish faith when somebody passes. And I can't even imagine being a kid like that and hearing something like that.
Just the mom being toxic, man. Like, and that's why that's exactly pinpoints to what you said, like dealing with your shit. Like,
yeah.
In no way, like, even in her mind, if she think her son is the reason why her other son is like, oh, you don't take that out on the kid. Like, come on. Like,
it makes me wonder too what kind of how she was raised. Cause it's hard for me because she didn't seem like that at all in the beginning. She was a happy mom,
loving,
love you boys, see you later, Gator, be safe, take care of your brother, and then she just switched. Maybe she had some type of, like I said, mental illness disorder, split personality type of thing, or
good running the family,
whatever it is. Cause my God,
to switch like that.
Yes, and he's such a cute kid, and I cannot imagine how people can abuse kids and animals. That does not sit right with me.
Yeah, the world needs a lot more love.
Yes.
A lot of help and a lot of love.
This probably touched a lot of people in a deeper way.
That's what I'm saying. This episode was like, it went left field, but it hit you in the feels. Yeah, you know, like,
Field of reeds.
Like people watching Moon Knight probably didn't know they was gonna go through this. Like, this is probably bringing back some stuff. Like,
right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like this.
Oh, like that broke my heart. How do you're upstairs and you don't come down to sing happy birthday to your son?
Your son.
You still have a son left, but I don't know how. Like, have you ever watched the Johnny Cash movie? Or no, Johnny Cash. Something similar happened to him. His brother passed away in an accident, and the family blamed him. And they always had a rift up until he was, you know, even into his famous years of the same. Like they just blamed him for it. I'm like, how as a parent, like you might have that feeling, but you still have a child left. How do you do that?
Yeah, that's sad.
So I think they did a really amazing job at capturing those feelings through this episode. Because I mean, he's just walking through the house, and in each level, there's just a different level of memory. You know, he goes back to her drinking, like she's now started to drink. As a result, to cope as a coping mechanism for her grief and for her anger and for whatever else. And it's so sad. Like the writers did a great job because it just really just puts you in your feelings. It did for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Just imagine being a kid having to deal with that. Like, you're the one that's seen your brother die.
Yeah.
And you gotta deal with like just your parents, well, your mom, or whoever it is, just coming down on you. Like that's.
Well, and that's why I love it at the end where it's almost like he forgives himself because Steven is the one telling Mark like you have to let it go. Like it was not your fault. You were a child. Do you know how many people like. If you can have someone in your life that is able to tell you that and help you understand that aspect, like the things that happened to you were not your fault. I mean, he did it for himself in this episode because nobody knew what he went through. Layla couldn't have known what he went through if he didn't tell her that.
Yeah.
So it's just, I mean, to be able to do that and go down that journey and actually understand those things that's a powerful thing.
To see what happened to you and just like see how it affected you and
be able to like I said, it's almost like he was able to forgive himself because he saw it from a different perspective, a more compassionate perspective. And I feel like people need to be more compassionate with themselves. Like you went through some things, you know.
That's everybody.
Understand it and learn from it. And that's how you grow and how you heal.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was felt like welcome to my TED Talk.
No, I mean, you was spitting. I'm not gonna lie. You was keeping it real. You was spitting, you know, like... I mean, because that's what this episode, like, this is how I came across. Like, you know, like, this is what they show. Like, this episode, like, that's why I said I think out of all the episodes, this one would have to put you in the fields, man. Because, like, just think about how this show started. This show started with, you know, you seeing a man cracking glass and walking in sandals, you know?
Yeah.
The show started like that, and now we're here, you know? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like twists on twists, you know, you just didn't expect this kind of show just to do what it's doing. That's why, like we both said, we commend them for, like, what they're doing.
Yeah, because they're telling a story. They're just... They're dotting all their I's and crossing all their T's, or whatever the phrase is, because they're not leaving us with questions. Like, stuff's being answered, things are being connected, everything's kind of tying up loose ends, and yeah, they have some stuff. Now it's just coming to the finale of, okay, you know he's coming back, you know it's going to be an epic showdown with Arthur Harrow.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm ready for that now. Like you said, this was like a whole episode of just in his mind, and you're like, oh, it's a little slow. I think it was good just for me because I was so into the knowledge behind it, but I think now we're just like, okay, we're ready. Yeah. Like, after this Egyptian sailboat and all, like, you gotta win for what's his name, for Steven.
Yeah.
You know, R.I.P.
Yeah. I was honestly.
John said he still feels so bad for Steven too.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Telling
Steven,
you.
man. R.I.P. Mark too, because he looked like he in the promised land. I wanted to see more of this scene where Mark is struggling. He just goes inside of the
tomb.
Yeah, I wanted to see more. Like, I wanted to see the whole, not even the whole thing, but I just wanted to see, like, you know.
I don't know, because by then, like, I was already very emotionally, like, spent.
Really?
Because, yeah, you just went through a man's entire lifetime of traumas.
Yeah.
In a very short span.
Yeah.
So emotionally, I was just like, all right, I've cried like 3 times, whatever it was by that point. And you see him, like, in his most desperate mode, like, I'm just so done, you know, and then Khonshu says, your mind is so cracked. You know, well, that, get your ass over here. It's a perfectly good body.
Place. You dying in the right place, man.
Yeah. But I mean, you're seeing him, that's his rock bottom.
Yeah.
He's about to kill himself. He's so broken. He got Layla's dad killed. Obviously, him and Layla might not be, he meets Layla here, but, you know, how bad does he feel? And he's just at his lowest and his worst. And then Khonshu's like, hey, what's up?
What's up,
It's like sliding in his tomb DMs.
For real. So we heard a theory where they were saying that Khonshu has been targeting Mark since he was
childhood.
So he's been, man.
And you kind of get a glimpse of that because if he stepped on that in his childhood memory, remember he stepped on that bird skeleton, and then it just kind of tells you that
he's been waiting around. Like, I got you, and I want you.
So because he knew he had some type of, you know, disorder, and he, you know, had it as a child, and he spent a lot of time. That's why he, you know, this whole psych ward was in his mind and all of that. Because he started there as a child. He knew it.
Do you think we find out later, maybe like in episode 6, that Khonshu is the reason why a lot of stuff has happened in his life?
Maybe it could be. That'd be a twist.
Yeah.
That'd be a twist.
Like, Khonshu's the reason his brother died, and, like, you know.
It could be because, oh my god.
Wouldn't there be some stuff, right?
You may have just cracked it. Like, Khonshu staged it all. He brought the floods, and oh my god.
So
to push him over the edge.
Yeah.
Could he have manipulated the mom?
Could have.
Oh my god.
He's a god. That'll be some stuff, man.
That's dark.
Like,
that's
Disney.
some deep stuff. I don't even know.
Next week, wrench us in the stomach before Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness comes out. We need...
Because, I mean, in all honesty, I like Khonshu.
Yeah. But, I mean, we see how Arthur turned out, so I wouldn't put it past Khonshu to be doing some shit to get what he wants, you know? Because he's a god, and he's like... It's really his way or the highway. Like, we seen him, like, not in this episode, but the other episodes where he's just like... you know, just do what I say.
Right.
Like, we even see Arthur, like, just evil as hell because of Khonshu. So it's like, man, Khonshu really got no limits.
So you do, you know how earlier you were saying, wow,
Thanks, Sims. Sorry, guys.
been a night of technical difficulties.
Right. This one because of Simba J. Garfield.
Yes.
Just because you got 3K followers, I mean, you can just knock the mics down all over the place, my guy.
Thinks he owns the place. I guess he's hungry.
Yeah.
You were saying earlier you wanted to kind of get a glimpse into the real world, or at least you felt like we were in his mind too much in this episode. Mm-hmm. So John agrees. He said I wanted something on what's going on in the real world, even for like a minute. But we do kind of get a glimpse. We actually know what's going on in the real world because when they come back onto the boat with I can't remember the hippo goddess, you see these like purple things flashing down from the sky, and there's like baboons or whatever running around like panicking, and she's telling him all of these things dropping down.
Yeah.
It's Amit being, she somehow got released back into the world, and all of these souls are being cast into this duat. Before their time, falling, before their natural time to die. And so they realize, oh shit, Amit's like, she got out, something's happening. So, automatically they go into survival mode and go get back Layla. Yeah. So we do kind of get that a little bit. Do you feel like that was enough in the episode for you, or did you still want more after understanding that aspect of it?
I like the whole scenery of this, like when they were on the ship. Like, right. I just love the colors and just like the scenery.
It's
like,
beautiful.
I love how the sky is like it's dark and like it kind of gave me Loki vibes, Loki, a little bit.
Really?
Like a little less colorful, but it did give me Loki vibes.
Not trying to be racist, and it is very different cultures. It gave me very Aladdin vibes, like because of the sand. But I mean, obviously, I know it's a different place in the world, but the sand, that's just what I would imagine like a live action Aladdin looking like. I haven't seen the live action Aladdin, so. Yeah. But this is like the type of sand and type of atmosphere I would imagine. Even the colors are what I would imagine as an Aladdin.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of for some reason.
I could definitely see it like that now.
Definitely. Yeah. John said this episode really helped him, showed him how mentally ill he is, and it just shows that Arthur was telling the truth.
Yeah, about Khonshu, like
manipulating him. But wait a minute. That can't be, because if Arthur Harrow said he was Khonshu's avatar. So how much older is he than Mark? You know what I mean? Arthur? Yeah, because that kind of limits his time that he could have been. I mean, it would have been like what, in his 20s, a long, long time ago, because he's been following Mark this whole time, right? Yeah. And when he met Mark, he still hadn't jumped into a body yet.
Yeah, I guess we will have to know how long. That's a good question. Like,
yeah.
Like, I do want to see, like, that's why, like, I love this show, but I want to, like, they introduce so many things, but it's like, I want to see more. So it's like, with Arthur Harrow, I wanted to see when, like, Khonshu and Arthur were, like, together. Like, I want to see, like, a flashback of, like, what happened with them, you know?
100%.
Like, yeah, we hear it from Arthur's side. We haven't even heard it from Khonshu's side, you know? Like, I just want to see something from, like, the past. Like, show me something, you know?
Yeah. This show could have been another 2 episodes longer.
Could have been, definitely could have been.
To at least give backstory to those two.
We wouldn't mind it.
I'd be here for it. So. He also says, crocodile lady on a killing spree. The gods have no choice but to act now. The people are dying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, they probably don't want to let Khonshu out, but Layla is either going to convince them or she's just going to be badass and go let him out herself somehow.
Yeah. I'm thinking, here's the thing. I'm thinking Khonshu takes over Layla. I don't know, man. Like, because technically Mark is dead. So, like, Khonshu is going to, I feel like this is going to be Khonshu's chance to choose. Like, do I save Mark or do I go ahead and take this new body, Layla? I definitely think we get that in episode 6. Like,
really?
Like, where he's like, like, he's thinking. Like, I don't know if he's going to go straight to Mark. Like, because remember he said, like, he's been wanting to get Layla. Like, just in case something happens.
What another twist
that's what I'm saying. So I think they're going to wake him up, but it's not going to be easy for him to just be Moon Knight. I think Khonshu's going to definitely be like, You know, then we're gonna eventually see him go to, Mark.
Right.
But I don't think it's just gonna be like, oh, you set me free, or maybe because he told Steven to tell Mark to set him free. So
yeah.
But I don't know. We like has Khonshu like changed his ways? Like, I don't know if we've seen enough of that in the series. Like, cause
we don't know Khonshu really.
Yeah, we really don't. Like, and like. We're only hearing like Khonshu's side, and we're only hearing Arthur's side, and even the gods kind of seem like they're not towards Khonshu,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like who's telling the truth?
Hashtag free Khonshu.
Free country.
That's what John said.
That's funny.
Yeah, start the hashtag.
It was so funny when he called this man Ned Flanders, man.
That flew right over me.
God. I was like, man, they is roast. I was like, this show's like, it's so funny, man, because he like, Ethan Hawke plays both characters really well.
Oh my god, he does.
Like he really like he plays like.
And then you just sit back and realize this man survived a bunch of cholos almost shooting him in a bathtub.
Oh my god. And does things like this.
And walked up into Denzel Washington's hood and said no.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And became a philanthropist.
Yes.
Hey, look at him.
A psychologist, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's come a long way since Training Day, but man, this man can act.
Talk about range, man. So at this scene, right, like when we got to this point, I was like, okay, do we just jump back again? We're at the scene where, I guess, what is it, Mark talking to the doctor, and it's not Steven yet. So this was the part for me where I was like, we went so far. Why, are we back in the asylum? Like, I was like it
starting to process it.
Yeah, like, it took me back. I'm like, like, are we ever going to get out of this place? Because I got confused, like, seeing it again, you know. But it gave us more answers, like, of course, as the episode went through.
So this is Mark, and that's why he's asking, do you think you created Steven to hide from all the awful things that you went through? Or do you think Steven created Mark as a result of what your mother did to you? So that was like that
was a deep-ass question.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like...
And if he's asking himself this, because in theory, Dr. Harrow's in his head, right?
Yeah.
He's creating him.
Yeah.
He's asking himself with, this. He's trying to understand this, for himself. Do you think you created Steven as to hide from all the awful things that you feel like you've done in your life?
Mm.
Or did Steven create Mark to punish the world for the things that his mother did to him? That's just a deep question.
That's some deep stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like, the writing, man, give this an award.
Mm-hmm.
Like, renew season 2. Like, because the questions they ask, like, it's really some stuff that, like, they doing the Pixar thing where it's like, it's cute and it's funny, but it's got like some real stuff, like, also that you can take away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this show is doing the exact same
For
thing.
adults.
Yeah, for adults.
This is like adult, movie therapy.
Yeah, it really is.
Wow.
It really is. Because I guarantee you there are a lot of adults that went through the same thing that Marcus went through. Steven,
100%. And in all honesty, I hope it opens up a conversation for a lot more people about this type of thing, and just makes it more acceptable to have these open conversations, because it is important. And it made me curious, like the way Dr. Harrow was talking to Steven and asking him like that question. I mean, it's him asking himself that, but I wonder if they've gone so far in the research as to find out if that is a type of therapy that they use for dissociative identity disorder. I want to know more about it now. Like, I'm just glad that shows like this are opening up more conversations and are getting people interested in learning that, just because it is, like I said, important.
Yeah. That, man, you bringing up some good, valid points. And, like...
What'd I do?
I just feel like... We always wonder why Mark was a mercenary. How could he be a mercenary, all this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But we literally see him when he was a kid. Like, he used to get, like, beat or whatever,
Yeah.
So it's like, this stuff is...
Yeah.
It stems, like, it goes a long ways. Like, we were all judging him earlier. We're like, man, look at all these bodies in here. Like, how could you do that? Like,
you go from one aspect to the other.
Yeah.
In one episode.
Oh, I'm like, this stuff is touching, like,
every aspect. Yes. Ugh. And even just, what did you think about this? Like, this was actually the first scene where he's sitting in the room. This kid is still such a kid that he's surrounded by, like, teddy bears and stuff. That's how young he still is. And what do you think about seeing him for the first time doing the Moon Knight thing, essentially, and turning into another person entirely? With a damn an adorable little accent.
Yeah.
But then he's doing these, like, kind things of cleaning up because he doesn't want mom to get mad.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that broke my heart even more. Are you kidding me? And then you realize that from the poster, when danger is near, Stephen Grant has no fear. So, I mean, it's really him coming to understand that he's such a complex character in so many ways, and this is actually him too. Like, at the end of the episode, I feel like he understands that more.
Yeah.
But it's part of who he is too, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he was just this sweet, kind boy that developed because he couldn't deal with this traumatic memory, you know?
Yeah. And, you know,
and that aspect of him never knew that happened. Like, this is the first time he's learning about it and dealing with it, but he never knew. Yeah. He got to live that normal life, you know? Yeah. He got to live the happy life of not being abused and not being hurt and not knowing that, you know, having the traumatic memory of, oh my God, my brother died because of me.
Yeah.
That's deep.
And it's so crazy that Mark, he blocked all that stuff off to the point to where, like, we even get callbacks to the first episodes where Steven is leaving voicemails for his mom, you know?
Yes.
And it's like,
I'm so glad they paid that off and didn't just make that a weird thing.
I'm like, wow. I'm just like, man. Like,
it's the complete opposite. That you had a mom that beats you and hates you and made life a living hell, and then Steven got to have a mom that he called every day in his mind and talked to, or, you know, at least thought she was alive, thought she loved him, thought all of those things.
wow.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's natural to want that or want to do that because kids want to be loved. No kid wants to, you know, question if they're loved, question, you know, why is my mom different from other moms or whatever else. You know, no kid wants to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a version of survival mode, you know? But I feel like the Mark Spectors of the world strive to be the Stephen Grants of their life. And this is just his way of getting it. Yes, his Stephen Grant died, but he knows he has the potential to do that and even more now. Yeah. You know what I mean? He knows he's a good person. He processed all of this and understood, like, I'm not a bad person. Yeah, I've done some things, but, you know, I processed this. You know, I understand that what happened to me is what affected me in this.
Yeah.
Or what got me to this place.
Man.
John just did a whole mind trip. What if Steven acts like his brother and took on his little brother's... Oh.
Wow, mind blown, John.
I'll have to go back and look into that.
That's a theory. That's a great theory.
Oh, that would have broken my heart if they used to, like, role play that movie. And he was a little Stephen Grant with the accent. Oh, if they would have thrown that scene in there.
You know what's crazy? Because, like, even the episode before this, like, we see the playback of just the tape playing. And, like, that was literally him and his brother, like, going off into, like...
adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah, John said he lost his brother, so he imagined a new one in Steven. Because they do get close in this, you know, these last 2 episodes, because they have had to rely on each other.
Yeah.
You know, they've been through some stuff. He also said, is Moon Knight the only one to fight against Amit? I think so. I mean, unless Layla gets some kind of powers.
Yeah. I'm hoping there's some just super avatar, like, god battle. You know,
yeah.
I'm hoping all the avatars come out and try to throw hands with him.
Or at least a couple. You kind of have to.
Like,
this girl, this.
This girl is out here going crazy. She, you know, we seen it, like, just people like just going in the sand, like just lights and flashes. So it's like, she didn't waste no time. Like,
right.
As soon as they did what she did, she's like, Judge, nope, you're going.
Right.
Like, they got this man Ethan Hawke up there, like, scales going crazy. He's like just scaling on the live stream. Anybody that pulls up,
you true.
Anybody that pulls up getting judged.
You true.
Anybody pulls up getting judged right then and there. Like, who judge me?
Oh man.
So I'm wondering, like, of course we see like all this judgment and stuff going on. I wonder, is that gonna signal or notify anybody, like a Doctor Strange, or like a
that all these deaths are happening,
or like
in
the
one
Avengers?
place?
Yeah, like just it's so many like just. See what you did there. There's so many just things happening. I wonder, is it gonna like signify or just signal. Like signify? I wonder, is it gonna signal like the Avengers or just like anybody? Because this is like some big shit, you know.
It is. Sorry. But it is. I mean, you would think it would, but I mean, I don't know. Doctor Strange is kind of dealing with some stuff right now, you know?
What if this
when
is...
When does this take place?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. What if this is some, like, multiverse stuff at the same time happening?
So it's not in the same universe as the MCU?
Like, she's pulling random people.
What if he gets brought into the MCU through Multiverse of Madness? Maybe he's an end credit.
I could see it.
I don't know. Could that happen?
I
They
could
did it in
easily-
Morbius.
Yeah, I could easily say.
No, it doesn't work that way, huh?
No.
Well, at least not in the Homecoming spell. It didn't work that way. Who knows what the hell they're gonna do,
Yeah.
or what's gonna happen in Multiverse of Madness? Anything can happen.
Yeah.
You know, KG is gonna say anything is possible. John asks, "Do y'all think we'll see something special in the finale that could that could connect to the Multiverse of Madness?"
I just said it. We just answered that. We literally we answered that with everybody without even answering that.
That would be kind of cool, like a prequel or something preview into Multiverse of Madness. Like maybe Steven sees something happening as a result of that movie, and then that movie.
You know what? I'll give Marvel props for whenever they do this, but I don't think they're gonna do it.
Doing an end credit?
No, I mean they might do it in credit, but I doubt that they would like
connect things so closely.
Yeah, I just don't think they got their time and stuff down just yet. But that will be the dopest thing ever. If next week by the ending we see something that ties into Doctor Strange and then see Doctor Strange and like that'll be cool as hell. Cause that'll be fresh. That'll be super fresh.
If you weren't planning to go see it, now you got reminded to go buy your ticket.
Yes, have some Doctor Strange reference in this, and then the next day go and like, come on, Marvel,
yes,
please. I doubt they're gonna do it, and if they did do something, I think it would be maybe something Thor or like how we said, Blade or Black Knight related. So
no, it could be Black Panther.
Yeah, they did say the ancestral
plane.
It. Yeah,
the celestial plane, right? Or which one? No, it's not astral.
Yeah, yeah, they did.
Which is where the people of Wakanda go to, or where
Black Panther preview.
I'm calling it now. That would be where my money's at.
That'll be your wild shot.
Yeah, no, that'd be my. Well,
just because they've already alluded, they kind of actually said it in here.
They've made that connection, so it makes sense. Keep making sense for me. Yeah. You know. There's a lot of stuff going on in the multiverse with Eternals and Shang-Chi, and then like it's going all around the world now. So make something make sense for me, you know.
Good point.
John says the other gods should power up Moon Knight somehow. I don't know if they'd be able to unless they're like somehow siphoning off of Khonshu's power, because he's the only one that can resurrect people.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we get a good understanding of the power skills on the next episode too. Like, which god is stronger than who? Like, is Amit stronger than everybody? Like, do they all have to team up against her, or is it like, you know? I mean, I'm hoping we get a good like explainer of like that in the next episode, because like honestly, for Moon Knight, if he's like the god of like resurrection, like it's like it kind of takes like the, you know, like the umph out of it. I think, you know, because it's like he can't die.
He's like our Superman.
Yeah, it's like.
I mean, technically he can. But he can only die if the gods extract him. Yeah, well, if the gods extract Khonshu. Man can't extract him. We can't even see him.
Yeah.
So he can die. He obviously did. He's in the afterlife.
Yeah, so you think there's going to be a Khonshu versus Amit fight? Like, just straight up?
Yeah, definitely. We've seen it in the previews. There has to be a Khonshu Amit fight. But it'd be interesting if they do a whole, like, Khonshu and the gods versus Amit. It'd be epic.
Yeah, I think so. So now,
question.
Are you good? Yeah.
No, I was going to ask you about this scene. What do you think about him realizing his mom died? Because, I mean, what do you think? Why do you think it is that he was kind of torturing himself, essentially, because Dr. Harrow is in his mind, right? By pretending, I guess, to call his mom. And all of a sudden, he's like, you know, Steven, would you like to talk to your mom? And he's like. Tear runs down his face, and he just realizes like she's dead. My mom's dead.
Yeah.
How did you think, or what did you think about that scene and how he realizes it?
I thought like it was some like twisted parallel shit, because like I think that was the moment, like he seen the phone, right? But he looked at the phone differently, because for me, like he looked at the phone like this whole time, like I've been calling my mom and she's dead, like, you know, and he could hear like the dial tone at the end, so it was kind of like him like seeing like the truth like for what it was, like,
yeah. And then he takes like, himself back like, into the memory.
This is your mom, you know, like the phone, you know, like it was like some, yeah, like all this stuff made me sad, honestly, man. I'm like, dang, man, like this,
Yeah, it's just like John said, it made you realize how mentally ill he really was. I mean, he was drinking. I mean, that's a direct, your mom influenced that. She drank, so you cope the same way. You know, that can happen. And it's just, like I said, they're doing a great job of telling the story and trying to help some people through it,
They got to give my guy Oscar Isaac the Oscar for this show, man. Because I'm just, every single performance that he's given, he has not robbed us at all. Like, he really hasn't. Man. Like, he was moving. Like, he's even got a beard here. It's like, we just seen so many different, like, shades of this man.
Rough here.
Yeah. We seen so many different shades of this man in the show. And it's like...
It's like, this scene was so powerful too, where he's got the beard and he's crying after he couldn't go in to see his mom or sit Shiva for his mom.
Yeah.
Like, he just couldn't do it. He was so in pain. He's just crying in the middle of the street. It's like coming to terms with your past self.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's really just kind of forgiving yourself and seeing how bad, like, what your rock bottom was. And this, Emergency Austin pointed out, this is kind of where he lost control. He had been able to keep track of Steven and keep him like at a distance and only bring him out when needed.
Yeah.
But right here, when he kind of cracked in the middle of the street and Steven just came out and was lost. Yeah. That's kind of like right before where we pick up with this whole series. Yeah. That was 2 months ago. Layla had just lost touch with him, and she didn't find him until, Steven turned on Mark's phone. Yeah. So this is kind of where it all starts. And so it's crazy how this show freaking brought you back full circle. Really? To realize that. Yeah, for real, yeah. In only 5 episodes. Only 5 episodes. That's some great writing. That's just some great storytelling. That's all the above,
Yeah, I just think, like, this is exposing just a lot of stuff that a lot of people deal with on, like, just the day-to-day basis, man. Mm-hmm. Like, the stuff that people have to do to deal with certain things that have happened to them in their life, Yeah. Like, this is a strong, like, just character, like, case study. And, like, they really, like, I'm saying it right now, like, this show really looks like there was no rushes. There was no, like, they had all the time in the world to do this because everything just looks beautiful. Like, we're not robbed. We feel the emotions.
Yeah, you feel what your feelings throughout the show.
Like, you just, oh, my God, like, probably one of my new favorite actors, man, Oscar Isaac, because he destroyed this. He killed his role. He really did.
He really did. And it's like you said, too, you don't feel like... I feel like we spent enough time going through the memories. It didn't feel like too much. It didn't feel like, for me at least, that they didn't drag on or that we were going through too many memories or whatever. Mm-hmm. It felt like just enough, and you don't feel like you were robbed of, like you said, the feeling the feelings and understanding and all of that. Like, it tells a story in a great way. Yeah. And then it goes right back into, where she's trying to balance their souls and it's still not okay. Yeah.
And then you're like, oh shit.
The zombie stuff, I'm like, oh my God.
When that happened at the end, I'm like, okay, here's the smoke that I was looking for this episode. I was like, it just took another turn.
Yeah. Mark's about to catch the smoke from all these fools. Like, and how thriller vibes do they bring? The eyes, the deadness. But it's cool to imagine because this is straight out of Egyptian, history or Egyptian, mythology. Yeah.
This whole scene, like, I didn't know what the hell was going to happen or, like, what was going to go on. Like, when they were fighting the zombies, I'm like... Right. This is like, when it got to this point, I'm like, what the hell is going on once again? Like, cause like I feel like we were watching the show up to a certain point, and I was like, okay, we're feeling feelings, and we're getting, emotional.
And you get right back into it, like MCU stuff.
Literally, like, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on?
That's just crazy.
And like, you think for a while, Mark's about to get taken out, but we eventually see
Steven's got his back. He realizes if he can do it, then that's technically me too. So it's like finding that inner balance of the two. Like, I can be that person. I can be the good person and still, stand up for myself or whatever else. Yeah. So John says he's trying to see someone get tackled off a pyramid in the next episode. He said, I don't know, guys. Kate gives Oscar Isaac a run for his money in the MCU. You wrong for that, John. But you're so right.
Oh my god. Please don't let this girl show up in Multiverse of Madness, Kate. Stay on the farm.
Would it ruin the movie for you if she did?
Keep her out of the multiverse. Keep her on that farm.
And Brie Larson.
Yeah.
But
yeah, man. So we're almost nearing the end of the episode, and this whole episode was trippy as hell.
With being grabbed by sand zombies.
Yeah, just even starting off back at the hospital, I was still confused. I was like, okay, so we're here again. But one of the most like coolest images from this show was seeing Steven, like his face like getting just like transformed into like just like, what was it, the sand or like just like a tomb? Like
when he was like sanded.
Yeah, and he was just reaching like it, like he just looks like
it was like Medusa with sand.
Yeah, I just seen it and I'm like, oh man, no.
It just broke my heart.
Yeah,
I've just come to love this character
because we came a long way.
Yes,
and
like you just
look at this.
That's what I'm saying. This show just tugged at your heart because you've just gone through trauma with this man. You've lived through his traumas and helped him deal with it, and then he goes.
Yeah,
you know,
fell off the ship.
Like, damn, Mark's gonna have to now process this trauma.
Like, Jesus, trauma after trauma. Mark is just going through it.
Yeah.
And then she comes back and it's like, oh, the scales balance now.
Oh, you're good. Here's heaven.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he has to chill here until he's called back. I think is gonna be the story that they're gonna tell for next week.
So do you think him and Steven both go back? Do you think Mark and Steven both go back, or just one of them?
Do I think both go back? No. Oh, I don't know. That's a good point. Yeah, so if one can come back, they both can. Oh, you think they would do that?
I think they're bringing them both back.
Oh, thank God. I love Steven. I love that personality.
They're bringing them both back. Just the way they ended this episode, like, I heard you like, what? No. Like, that's how you know they're doing a good ass and a great job. Like, that end scene with just the sun shining and he's just in the white, just breathing, mouth open, and, like, he just enjoying that shit. That was just, like, it was beautiful.
It really was.
Like, it was just, like...
And here's my argument for why now that you say it, that they'll bring him back. They have to. Because, that white suit...
Yeah.
What did he say? Hip Colonel Sanders or something?
Oh, yeah.
Whatever he called him.
Yeah.
And I'm the float like a butterfly, sting like the V. My name is Steven with the V. Like, that can't go away.
Yeah.
That's a personality.
Yeah, they can't get rid of that.
So, I'd be sad if they don't bring him back, though.
I think they bring him back.
You kind of have to.
I think they bring him back, and they don't even tell us that he's back. But even if
you get glimpses of him,
or even a new personality or something. Like I think.
Oh, Jake Locke.
Like I think we're still like waiting to see this like new personality.
Yeah, because he's technically still around.
Like I'm really hoping that like this whole red like tomb, like the what was it, the coffin? Like, they better address that this season. They better address that. Like, do not let the season end without y'all telling us what was in there. Or, like, at least just show us.
If that's the only thing that doesn't get closed, would you be mad?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because they made it a point to, like, point it out, you know?
True.
Like, I can see if the camera just walked past it and it's like,
didn't need to open that door.
But they literally opened the door, it was shaking, and then somebody was like, let me out, you know? So.
It's true.
They gotta pay that off.
So, with the ending, right, in the Field of Reeds, he's reached heaven. John said, I damn near thought Thanos came back and snapped.
I was like, that I was dead.
And then he said, did y'all see the end? It really looked like he was in the Soul Stone. I'm like, oh shit.
Low key.
Like when he was with Gamora, you know?
Low key, he did. He did look like he was with the Soul Stone. But
damn.
What would you rate the episode? What would you give it? 4 out of 5? 5 out of 5? 3 out of 5? What would you give it?
7 out of 5.
7 out of 5. Man, that's like your highest score yet.
Right? What if... So John just did some more mind shit. He said, what if Jake is the third person and Jake is his brother? Because what was his name? Roro or Jojo? If it's, you know... We don't know his real name. He called him Roro.
I don't know. Jake seems super, like, angry.
He did seem very angry.
Super angry, stabby, like...
That is that third personality. Because
Yeah.
he kind of comes out in that same episode where Khonshu tells him, you know, he'll talk, and he cuts the scarf, and he's like, I really thought he'd talk.
Yeah.
Right, you know, right before that. So I don't know. Yeah, I think he's more of an angrier personality. It would have been interesting if they would have done that, though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I'm like, I need episode 6 to really pay that off. Like, I know we haven't really heard of Jake Lockley, like, in the show yet, but you gotta show us what's in that red tomb. Or give us, like, don't end the season without showing us what's going on with that. Or give us a hint or something. Mm-hmm. Don't just blow past
pay that off somehow.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Well, technically, he kind of made an appearance in this episode as a tip to the comics, I guess. But there's a cab in the scene where he finally he can't. The 2 months ago when he right outside of his mom's shiva, where he loses it and Steven appears and he just randomly appears. He's not called. He just appears, and he kind of permanently goes into that state for like 2 months.
Yeah.
I feel like where was I going with that?
Jake Lockley, he said he showed.
Oh, the cab. There's a random cab that's in that same scene as that whole thing's happening. So it's kind of like a payback to the comics too, because he was a cab driver in the comics.
I mean, I'm hoping they pay it off. If they don't, I'm still loving the show and what we've seen so far. You gave it a 7. I'm still give it a 4 out of 5.
Really?
You know, I mean, I love it. I just honestly think I'm getting swallowed by the multiverse right now. Like,
oh my god. That's not fair.
It's not. It's really not. But I'm just really excited for like just what I'm seeing in this movie. Like I think I'm more excited about the OG people in Marvel or the MCU. You know. So it's like I've enjoyed these new people, like Eternals. You know.
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Who else was it? What was the last show? Hawkeye.
New Hawkeye, yeah. That's what I'm saying. There hasn't
only
been a couple, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm enjoying.
Or even like America Chavez and yeah.
Yeah, I'm just ready for the real MCU, and I don't want to say it like that, but I'm ready for that. Like, I mean, I even enjoyed Spider-Man, but I was looking forward to Doctor Strange more than I was looking forward to Spider-Man.
Really?
Oh yeah, definitely. So.
I'd be curious to see if it knocks your socks off or not.
I think it will. I got faith in it. Like I'm a huge fan of Benedict Cumberbatch. Like I'm a pretty big fan of him. I really love Wanda after WandaVision.
Right.
You know? So it's like,
man, she's come such a long way. I never thought she'd be such a great, like, an influential character, but she really, like, I feel like the way people love her character is the way they were supposed to love Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Drop the ball.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if it's just the way the character was written. I don't know. I don't mean to hate on Captain Marvel, but I just...
Yeah, nobody cares about Captain Marvel. she ain't ever here, so...
John's laughing. He said, oh, okay. And he said it's a 7 for him, too. This episode was a 7. I just...
7 out of 5? Great.
We've never seen anything like it, in all honesty.
We haven't. Like, it's... Like, I feel like I'm being unfair, like, towards the score just because, like, I'm just, like, so wrapped up in, like, all the other stuff that's going on. Like, I'm still ready for Kang, you know? So, but as a standalone, this is solid. Like, I would probably give it a 5, like, just as a... Because I feel like you can honestly watch this without even being in the MCU and just have a great story, you know?
It could be its own, like... Just if they never did anything else with Moon Knight, this could be watched in 100 years and it still holds up on its own.
Yeah.
Didn't even need to connect to anything. There's nothing really that connects to the MCU aside from it connecting to it itself. Nothing that you need from like previous episodes or shows or movies to connect it or to understand it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't need to know that the snap happened to watch this.
Yeah, that's true.
Therefore, you don't need to know anything.
That's true.
That's a great standalone.
To me, this show is already better than the Eternals.
Oh yeah.
The movie.
Yeah, that was a flop for what I thought it was supposed to be.
I think they should have just did the Eternals like
show.
Yeah.
At least they could have given the proper character development to 10 of them.
I think
10 episodes.
Right? Like it should have been a show. Like it honestly should have been a show.
Alright.
Like this what we're looking at now, 2 hours and 40 minutes. And it still was like
I feel like I didn't learn much. I saw
you really didn't. And like Eternals really would have benefited if it was a show. That's why when we asked like could Moon Knight have been a movie earlier, I'm like, I don't know. Like it's kind of perfect. Like now how it is, you know.
I don't know if you could have explained all of that in just 2.5 hours.
Nah.
And I don't even know if you would have wanted a movie.
You had to rush through a lot of things.
Or like I said, if you split it between 2 movies, I think it's too long of a story that you'd be trying to tell.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't want to cut anybody short on that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. But back to Multiverse of Madness, John said that the movie needs to be MCU changing like Loki.
It gotta be at this point, because like,
What could be so changing aside from Kang? Like, do you think they'll bring others into the MCU? Do you think?
Oh yeah.
What do you think? Like, what's
this
your
movie,
most random prediction for it?
I think this movie definitely got this like. It's gonna like. I'm trying to think of all the post credits we've seen so far. We haven't really seen a real post credit in a minute, other than Shang-Chi. Like Shang-Chi was probably the most real post credit we've
What
seen.
was the Eternals post credit?
It was pretty much Harry Styles, Thanos' brother,
Oh, that's right.
showing up.
So just
I know where your Eternals are.
Oh, and Blade.
Yeah,
And Kit
the
Harington.
Blade thing and the Eternals got taken away from Earth.
Cersei and
Useless once again, way to disappear when the Multiverse of Madness was happening. Like, get the fuck out of here, Eternals.
They're out in space.
Like, get the way to disappear when the next big MCU event shows up after y'all saying, you know what, we're just gonna help the humans now. He was like, no, you're not. I'm just gonna take y'all off Earth now.
What'd I say?
The one time they decide to say, you know what, we should intervene on human things.
Yeah.
He's like, nah.
And the other Eternals are in space, so how do you let them know?
Yeah. So, the real only post credit we've gotten so far has been the Shang-Chi when the rings were beaconing out to something in space, and they didn't know what it was, and that's when all the Avengers was like zooming, and they was like, we don't know anything about it. That's technically the only real post credit we've gotten that's like moved us like further. So
I still can't wait to figure out who it beacons.
So this Doctor Strange is definitely gonna like set us. It has to set us forward and let us know like what's coming down the line, like with everything. I think it's gonna answer the Kang question. It's gonna answer the next big bad question. I think Doctor Strange is gonna answer it all. Like it has to. It really does. And Thor's gonna just tell its own little story. Like I'm really happy and excited that we getting back to like the original MCU stories. Because I think it's been a minute since we've seen the original MCU story. Spider-Man was like, it was like,
Black
let's bring
Widow.
all the Spider-Mans together. That was like, but that was in the past. It wasn't moving like the
And
Avengers
Black Widow,
Endgame
it's
story.
been all new. Eternals,
Yeah.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
The
So
shows are all new.
that's why I'm so excited to finally get back to like an original character that we all know and love, and just a continuation of the main like MCU universe. I'm very like that's why I'm really excited about this movie, cause it's pushing forward the story officially. Like we don't have to wonder about Endgame anymore. Thank God.
Right.
I'm so tired of hearing about the snap and after the snap. I need to hear about after Doctor Strange, after Thor. This happened. Like that's gonna keep us up to date. So I feel like we're finally gonna get up to speed and like know when stuff is happening, what's going on. Because if you think about it, any movie that releases after Doctor Strange, you kind of have to assume this happens after like Doctor Strange Enter the Multiverse of Madness. Like you have to assume that any show,
True.
like even Loki season 2, like is that happening? That has to be happening after all this stuff. It has to be.
It's so Loki is at least happening before Quantumania. Right. So no. Well, Loki is. So doesn't he get taken up to the TVA as soon as what's it called happens?
Technically, Loki is in a whole different like multiverse right now.
No, he's just in space. He's like in.
No, remember
he got pruned. That's how he got there.
No, remember he went to another universe where Kang is like actually in the TVA and like.
Oh, at the end. Oh, I see what you mean. At the end, yes.
Yeah, so
we don't know when that was. When that is.
Yeah, so technically Loki, he's in a whole different like.
And technically, aren't we in a different MCU?
We're in the main MCU right now.
Loki's in a different MCU.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Loki's in somewhere
Yeah.
like we don't even know where the hell this dude at.
So we may not even. Interesting. But then he kind of has to appear in Love and Thunder, right? Thor: Love and Thunder. It's the perfect time for him to be able to come back or do something.
I think it depends on how this Multiverse of Madness thing goes. Like, I honestly think we might see. No, I don't know if we'll see him in Doctor Strange. I think it'll be cool though if we did, like just to.
Or maybe it'll leave like some way open, some type of portal open to be able to have him come back into our MCU and warn us. And maybe that's also how Kang comes into our MCU, the bad Kang.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's where Loki's at. And maybe that's how it happens. Maybe he figures out how Loki got here and follows Loki here.
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I need some kind of TVA appearance or reference in this Multiverse of Madness movie.
Well, you're not gonna get that.
What?
No way.
I need some kind of reference.
That's
what
space.
if?
That's like.
What if what's her name shows up? Renslayer.
For what?
And we go to a multiverse where she's like doing what she was like supposed to do or whatever.
I think that's way like a storyline that would go way too off topic because you would have to. It's not even that long of a movie. You still have to deal with Wanda and Doctor Strange stuff. You could possibly be dealing with some Vision if he comes back into this.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
No, I'm saying like, what if they're traveling multiverses and we just see her?
Oh my God!
Like,
it's an Easter egg.
Yeah, like just in the back, like we're going through multiverses, seeing different stuff, and we see her like just her character, just as a quick 1 second, like.
Interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Like that'll be a perfect like let's just like I'm not gonna lie, they should throw all these shows just a little bit. Like
yeah, more Easter eggs. What if they go and like visit technically because you see them doing that in the previews. What if they visit they travel through a lot of these places, but also stop and visit some of these different multiverses, in a way that they did here in this episode of Moon Knight. And this is kind of like helping you understand the concept of doing that. It's almost like priming you for it. That's interesting because you ask why put Moon Knight here, why not have it be the December one, or why not even release it last year or next year, because it kind of stands on its own. Maybe it's helping to like bridge that gap and help you get used to the idea of like different things going on through different doors essentially. But the concept of him doing that through different multiverses, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping we see some kind of like. I think like they've been throwing us off with these trailers. I think we finna see some crazy ass shit in this movie.
Yeah, John said he wants to see Miss Minutes and Renslayer.
That'll be some shit,
right?
Like just take us through because honestly, when Doctor Strange go up to the Illuminati and stuff like that, it kind of looked like TVA is like no powers. Like, kind of look, I don't know.
Could it be their MCU's? Well, no, that is the main, I don't know. Does it get taken to another MCU's TVA and that's who they are? Is that what you said? Is that what you just said?
Pretty much.
And I just woman-splained it. I'm sorry. I just realized that.
No, you good, you good.
John says they do look like they're at the end of time or something.
Yeah.
Man.
So... I don't know. Time will tell. The official countdown is on right now. Next week, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness comes out. And also, Moon Knight, episode 6 comes out. We can't forget about Moon Knight. But we definitely going to do midnight premiere of Moon Knight episode 6. We're going to be doing our live reaction. As soon as the show ends, man, it's been a crazy and interesting ride. Reacting to Moon Knight, one of the best shows that you said you've seen so far. So we're definitely gonna stay up late for reaction and end it off with a bang, and then we'll be reacting to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I don't know what day, but we want to make sure everybody gets a chance to see it before we spill the beans or whatnot. We'll do a quick little out of the theater reaction, but I'm stoked. I'm excited for next week, and I'm loving this show, but I'm too excited, knowing that in the same week we get to watch. It's kind of not fair.
I was gonna say, you think they should have done that, or made us wait another week?
That's what I'm saying. If they go release this in the same week of Doctor Strange, this would be the perfect alley-oop for them to be like, just throw something like.
Oh, to the next thing to watch.
Yes. Like, just connect this to Doctor Strange easily. Or connect this to Black Panther, like you said. Like, that would be smart, honestly. Connect this to Black Panther so we don't even need a trailer for Black Panther, but we got some kind of awareness. Like, that'll be golden. Because, like, all the awareness right now is on Doctor Strange and Thor. Yeah. So if they alley-oop Black Panther in it, oh my God. Like, that's how you roll out the content. Marvel.
Marvel's like,
that's why you make us wait 3 months, because y'all got some stuff playing, you know, on the post credit. So this show, it better give us a post credit. So I'm gonna be mad. Yeah, I will be mad.
Really?
I'll be a little mad for a little bit because I know Doctor Strange is
for a couple hours.
Yeah, I'll be a little mad, but I think we need a post credit because I want to know where, like, tease me, like, where is Moon Knight gonna show up next? Like, show me, like.
Maybe. Well, I guess for the hardcore fans, because like we were talking about earlier, this is more of an adult show. Not all kids can watch this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see if they do an end credit, what it's gonna be. So keep that in mind, because not everyone's gonna see this. Or can see this, I guess, in technical.
Yeah. I think they'll do one. They definitely gotta do one. I think they, like, this show has been so great so far. For them not to do one at the end, it's like.
Wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't think so.
What if they did a post credit where he may show up next, or something like him in his next adventure or something like that?
We'll return for season 2, something like that.
Something. I don't know. Would you be
even
satisfied
that?
with
No,
that?
I would be satisfied with that.
Some type of post credit.
Just something. Some kind of end tag, like, just give us something. You have to at this point, Marvel. You have to.
It's true.
But let us know you guys' favorite moment of episode 5. We will be back next week live right after the premiere of Moon Knight. Man, I can't believe we're here at episode 5 already. It's always such a wonderful time to come here and do these reactions. We got Simba James Garfield in the cut in this tunnel. Shout out to Simba James for stopping by, knocking over the mic, and being the talent cat that he is. But man, I'm stoked. Next week is gonna be probably one of the biggest weeks in like MCU history in a while. Like, and we're all here for it, so I'm stoked. I know you're stoked, Mr. Sims is semi-stoked. But any last closing words before we get on up out of here?
I can't wait till the next episode.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to the next episode. Definitely looking forward to next week. Shout out to John. Shout out to Moon Knight that pulled up in the chat. Shout out to all the viewers. Make sure you guys hit that like button. And we will catch you guys next week for another Raw Real Review. And just be patient. It's almost time. It's going down. But just be patient. We got one more week. And a lot of just the MCU craziness is just about to like just explode. So, and we're all here for it. So, stay positive. Always try to be the best person you can be. You can be whoever you want to be in life. Just look at me. We got any last chats before we get on up out of here?
John said Mordo been plotting on Strange.
He really have. We gotta watch Doctor Strange, the first one.
I'm excited on that.
Yeah, Mordo was like, never forget. I don't care what multiverse I'm in. Never forget, motherfucker.
Yeah, Strange.
Yeah, Mordo's on his ass.
I don't even really remember.
Yeah, we gonna definitely watch Doctor Strange and catch up and be ready, man.
That's exciting.
Shout out to Moon Knight. Shout out to Doctor Strange. Shout out to Mordo too. We'll catch you guys on the next stream. Peace.